Howdy everybody, it's Amy here from Amy's Sparkly Diamond Painting and Cross Stitch, and I have been so looking forward to getting this in. This is one cross stitch kit, so I wanted to record this video right away. I've already recorded a video this morning that I was putting up for today, which is Monday, which was a Diamond Art Club unboxing. But this came in today, and this I have been waiting for quite some time. Not necessarily just the order, but the chance to buy this one. So this is a very special cross stitch to me, and it comes to me from Painting Fairy. I bought this with my own money. Well, I say that I bought this with the help of commissions and everything for Painting Fairy from the orders that you all have placed using my discount codes and my links and all that. So I really do appreciate it, because when Painting Fairy reached out to me at the very beginning and asked if I would help out with an affiliate opportunity, this was on my mind. This was a particular cross-stitch kit that they had, but it was quite expensive, but it was one that I really, really wanted, and it was just too much for me to be willing to pay, because it's a big one, as you can tell by the fact that it's in 2 boxes. So I worked up enough commissions that I was able to purchase this with the commissions plus a little bit of my own money. And so I do appreciate and want to say to everybody, thank you so much for the support for my channel and all that good stuff. You can go on Painting Fairy and buy this one. I'm not sure that too many people want something this large or want this particular item, but you can check out, I will put my affiliate codes and everything there, because I do have a lot more medium and smaller kits and very affordable kits. This is a unique and special item here, so I'm ready to get into it so that I can start it right away. So if you've been on my channel long enough, you know that I really like maps. I have since I was a little kid. That's probably one of the reasons I got into meteorology as a career, because I got to look at weather maps every day and get paid for it. So I used to wallpaper my walls with maps, and I have always been on the hunt for the perfect map cross stitch. Now I have various diamond painting map kits, but I worry less about those because there's not as much time investment in creating a diamond painting map. So I do have several of those. I've been working on various ones off and on through time, trying to get them done. But a cross stitch is something different because it takes a lot more time. So I have several charts that I've collected through the years of various maps that I thought I liked, but then I'd stitch a little bit and the detail wouldn't come through, and I thought, no, that's not quite what I'm looking for. So Painting Fairy does have 2 different antique map kits, and they had one in particular that I really, really wanted. And so instead of trying to fight through counted cross stitch on Pattern Keeper, I've got some Heaven and Earth designs. I've kind of shown a couple of those other map patterns that I found along the way that just didn't quite make it for me, because again, I'm going to be a lot pickier about it because of the investment of time. But let me go ahead and pull up, because I know I've shown this before, but I'm not sure everybody has seen it. So this is my Pattern Keeper app for counted cross stitch, and I have various maps here. Let's see, I can show the PDF here. So here is one of them. It's not an antique map, but this is 725 wide by 518 high stitch count from Heaven and Earth Designs. And got a notification there about WaterBiz going live. But I really prefer the old world map style. So then I found this one from Golden Kite, and I started stitching up here. I did it on 28 count Lugana 1/1, and it just wasn't coming out that well. I've also done the Spring brand kit, and same thing, not enough detail there. This one was, see where the stitch count is on this one, because we're going to talk stitch count because that's kind of important to what's in here. So this is 990 by 704. There, so it's a big one. And then I found one that was a little bit closer to what I was going for, and that was this one here. This came from Tilton Crafts, 900 by 675, so pretty close to the stitch count of the others. But what I was looking for were these little artwork designs around an old world map. So the little vignettes here were kind of important to what I was going for the look for a cross-stitch antique map. But the colors on this one are very dark. It is very, very brown and very dark. So I actually never started that one. And then, I know, be patient with me, please. I found this one, which is actually the same as a map on the wall that we had at my house while I was growing up. But this one, 718 by 539, it's a little bit smaller on the stitch count, but it does have some of the imagery around here, but another little bit different style. So my other antique map, Heaven and Earth designs, I have on paper. I did not have Pattern Keeper at the time. I don't have the computer that I downloaded that, and I don't want to purchase that again. But with Heaven and Earth designs, you only have a couple weeks to grab your pattern, and then it's gone. And you have to either repurchase it or contact the owner to get a discount maybe. But anyway, that one I don't even have. So this is a Painting Fairy antique map. Now I have not opened the insides yet. So one of these is the fabric. I'm guessing maybe the lighter one. And one of them is the thread, as well as a couple other little extras that I purchased. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna guess this one because it's heavier for the extras and everything. So I'm gonna peek at this one. Now this, because it was an order with my own money, this is not gonna have all the affiliate goodies and things like that that come free for us, but I did add a couple things to my order, and this was one of the things. So we're gonna start here. Because I knew this was going to be a special kit, I went ahead and purchased these. I saw they had them on their store. So when you have a special cross stitch, it's always nice to really bling it up, just like we would do for diamond paintings. And some of the cutouts from this last one are coming through. So hey, these would be useful. I also do board gaming, so these look like they could be little tokens for a board game. These are the circles that punched out of one of them, so I'll put those off to the side. So these are printed. They had all these little girl patterns. They had a few different styles of these, but these are special plastic floss holders, and I thought they were just so cute. But they have the numbers here. They continue to go up. I'm not sure how far they go up. So this starts at number 1 here and goes to 36. So they, yes, 300, 400. I'm sure I won't have that many colors in this one. We're up to 5, 7. I've never seen a design, because there aren't that many DMC numbers, but they just keep going up and up. But I thought they were so cute. I should probably be showing you the back side where you can see the designs much better. And these are really thick, really heavy duty. So I may use these for a master set of DMCs. I don't know. I just, because I was already doing a big order, I just thought they were so adorable that I needed to add these to my order. So there's a bunch in this. And these little circles keep popping out, but that's okay. I kind of like them. So there's some more of them here popping out from where they punched out the circles here. I'll worry about that later. You don't want to see me fighting with those, but aren't they cute? Lots of these little anime girls here. Two more. So the numbers here go actually up to 3,866. So that tells you how many different holes that I have here to store floss, which I know is a lot. I don't need that many for any individual kit. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun to have these for various kits, especially all the ones that I have on cardboard. I can convert them over to that. So that is my little extra, and that's why that box was so heavy, because those are definitely heavy. Now, when I did order this, it did take a while to come in. It took about a month. But there's a reason for that, and that's because this is a really big cross stitch. So it wasn't very easy for them to print. So let's see what we have here. There's our floss. I'm going to put that off to the side. And then I did buy one small kit to go with it, but the funny thing is I got this one as a PR package as well. So I got a second seal here. And so I may not open this because I've opened it already on my channel, and this may end up being a giveaway. So I am going to keep the one that Painting Fairy sent me, but this one I may save here as a giveaway. I guess I can take it out of this because it has its own little plastic bag in here. So maybe it'll show up a little bit better here. So it does come in a project bag, and there you can see the little cross stitch. It is cute. So 50 high by 40, or 50 wide, 42 high. I believe this is a 14 count here. All these little animals in that little animal set are 14 count. So that is the kit that I ordered. So the rest is just this cross stitch. So the fabric must be in this box. And this is why it took a little while. I noticed they added it again on their site. If you go to Newest In on Painting Fairy website, this one shows up right at the top. So they may have printed some more. I don't know. For something this big, I have a feeling that they print to order. So yes, it is huge. And the frame for the seal is in here. So the seal does come with one of the baby frames. So all of their little animal set does come with one of these frames. I figured it would be in there. So that may end up being a giveaway here. So I'll move that off to the side. So let's see what we have here. We have our toolkit, and everything in here is going to be standard as you would get if you placed an order, because this was an order for my own purchase here. But we do have a sample here of the Painting Fairy floss if you've never tried it. It is equivalent to DMC. It is what they use in all their kits, and you get the information about the manufacturing and everything. We've talked about this a lot, so I don't want to bore you with too many repeats of this, but they do use all the DMC colors, and they are 30 cents a skein before discounts on their website, as opposed to the higher 60 cents to $1 that you pay for DMC, which they do also have DMC on their website if you prefer that, but I can tell no difference between the two. And then, as I've mentioned before, this comes with your kit, and this has the translation here for all the different types of stitches that you will see on some of these different kits, especially the smaller ones that have the back stitch and quarter stitches. So this will help you with the translation to help you read the floss key that comes with those. Plus you get all the washing instructions here if you've never done stamped cross stitch before, so you don't want to lose that. And then we have the standard toolkit here that comes, you get one toolkit per order because there's enough here to work on several different cross stitches. So oh wow, okay, that's funny. We have a teeny Blue head in here. That is so tiny. Wow, we're used to the little Labubu's that were coming in that I turned one into a purse little dangle decorative thing, but I noticed they had quit putting them in, but now we have teeny tiny baby Labubu's. Okay, that's cute. But you get these for parking threads, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to need a bunch of these with this particular kit. I'm still in my head trying to figure out how I'm going to work this kit, and you'll see why here soon. So these, you wind the floss around, you fold them over, and they secure your floss. I write numbers on DMC DMC numbers using like a Sharpie if I use them for holding a particular color of floss, but they stack if you want to do that. But I use them for parking. So got more of those. We have our nice golden heavy duty scissors, and these are very nice scissors, very shiny, very sharp point there. So love the scissors. But I might put this toolkit with that seal cross stitch to work on a giveaway. So here's our set of needles that comes with it, and I will probably need all those needles on this particular kit. So these are size 28, nice sharp needles, and a lot of them. And then we have the finger protectors, which do have little holes for breathing, but you can use these if you're rough with your fingers on pushing your needles through and all that. So I'm going to put all this back in because why not do the giveaway on this video? Sure, why not? So I will have for giveaway, if you can make it all the way to the end, we'll figure out what keyword or whatever we do, but I will go ahead and give away the little seal with the frame and the Painting Fairy toolkit because I have plenty of tools to work on this one. So are you ready to see the monstrosity? So here is our fabric. Wow. So it's going to be a little bit hard to manage, but you've seen me deal with the Pokemon, so I can deal with it. Here is our pattern. So I'm going to take it out to get rid of the glare. I am going to need to keep this bag to hold the pattern because this is a lot of pages that could get loose and create some trouble if they do get mixed up. So here is the one I chose. So we have all these different couples dressed in various outfits here. And then we have our little landscape scenery around the side. And then all the cool details here with the maps and the little corner pictures here. I just love it. We even have words here, so we're going to see how that's going to come out. But I have done several antique world map puzzles as well, because my interest in antique world maps, it goes back to when I was a kid. So I have done various puzzles, jigsaw puzzles through the years, and had them hanging on my walls and all that. So this one is called Retro Edition World Map. They actually have another one, but it wasn't quite as large, wasn't quite as cool of a picture, and so I picked this one. It was a little bit more expensive, but I did go 14 count. I really wanted 16 count because there are some darker colors in here, and it would make it a little bit more reasonable size, but it was like almost $75 more for the 16 count because of the size of this. So I decided to keep it reasonable, somewhat price, and go with a 14 count on this one. So it does not say the stitch count on there because it's going to be on the fabric. So we'll put that off to the side. So here is our chart that shows all the different symbols together that are different colors of the same shape symbol, so it makes it much easier to tell them apart. But I'm not quite sure. It's not that many colors. It's probably about the same, maybe even a little bit less than the Pokemon one, because I think I have 3 sheets for the Pokemon. So this one only has 2 sheets there, but with those antique colors, you wouldn't expect a ton of different colors necessary. So here's our color sheet, and okay, it is more than I thought. I really thought the Pokemon one had more, but this is 153 colors. Many of them are blends here. So as far as single colors, there's still quite a few, 115, and then the blends start after that. So yeah, it's a lot of colors. But I figured this is one of those lifetime projects, as we like to call this, is a full coverage. And I'm trying to get to the stitch count, which is on the fabric, and you'll see what's going on here. and why this is so thick. So here is a sample of the pattern. So we do have confetti right off the bat there. I like to start top left or bottom left. I might go bottom left on this one. I don't know. I'll probably go top left. We'll see, because I want to see kind of the pictures start to materialize as I stitch. But the frame here has a lot of confetti. So there is an outer frame here. And I'm working on one of the Amy Stewart bookshelf pieces, a museum shelf, and it has a frame like that around it. So it's kind of similar in the confetti and everything related to getting the details of that outer frame. So that is going to take a little bit of parking and a lot of color changing there. But then we get into the first picture here. So each picture is almost like doing an individual cross stitch, which is why I really wanted one that had all these little pictures around it, because it gives me a lot of little goals to work on as I work through the project. But it looks like there's a fair amount here of continuous areas of the same color on there for the background, but there is also quite a bit of confetti, and there's that. So you probably don't want to see all the details of the pattern, but if you're curious how many pages it is, first page of the pattern starts with page 1 and we end with page 78. So I need to figure out stitch count wise if this one is the same or larger or smaller than the Pokemon, because I didn't check that yet. I may pop that up at the end, or maybe I'll put it right here, because I will go back and edit this video probably. So I will go ahead and try to put the total stitch count, which is the length times the width, between this one and the Pokemon one right up here. So let's see what the stitch count is. And let's see if we can unfold this giant piece of fabric. So the cost for one of these really large ones is the difficulty in printing and the width of the fabric. So there is a limit to the width of the cross-stitch fabric that manufacturers can do and that companies can get. So there is an upper limit on these. I'm trying to navigate this to where we can look at it. So stitch count this way is 650, which sounds quite familiar to the other ones that I was showing you, but it's the width on this one, and I'm trying to see. I'm going to go ahead. Another reason I want to edit this video is because I want to stretch this out on the floor and show you a picture of the entire thing, because it's not going to fit. So here we go. So 999, the max there that you can go that I've ever seen on any cross stitch pattern, whether it be PDF from Heaven and Earth Designs or various companies. So 999 is about as big as you can go. So this is the most detailed map I'm going to be able to find anywhere, because of that max limit on either the software that they use to generate these, whatever. But 999 is the biggest I've seen. So if you've seen bigger, let me know. But 999 by 651 and 14 count. There we go. Here's all the details of the branding and all that. And it does have the legend on the side, but look how nice and wide of a border I have here for winding on a frame, although I don't think I will. I do have my giant Pokemon frame. I could fit this sideways. I don't think I can fit it lengthwise. Maybe I can, but I'm not so sure I want to do this on the frame, at least not at the start, because I have another one on that frame right now. So I think I want to try to stitch at least the edges of this in hand, so I can at least start it and get this corner, I think, done in hand without any trouble, because I can reach behind here on the edge pretty easily. But here's how the printing looks very, very clear. and I can see all the different colors in there. So I like the darker colors now that they're using, which gives a little bit more contrast, because with over 150 colors, that means over 150 symbols, it's going to get tricky to tell some of them apart. But they've been going more recently with all these multicolor ones to having different shades of background on all the different symbols. So we got the yellow ones here, the blue, the pink. It does really help read the symbols on here. We've got the nice big area of yellow here. We've got the words here at the top, which are definitely going to be very clear because they are larger. But I'm not quite as confident that the letters will appear as clear. This is going to be tricky. I'm trying to get to one more spot here because I know I can't show you everything here. But what I was curious about, let me get the picture again. These areas down here, you're not going to be able to make out those words. I'm pretty sure it's Latin in there. And some of the names there on the map, I don't expect those to come out. But I did want to see how it was run. Whoop. Sorry about that. I'm knocking things over on my table, but I was curious to see how it would be rendered on here. So that's, you can see kind of the linear look to it, but I'm not sure you can read too many of the words. And as far as the map goes, it's actually not a whole lot of color changing here. I can see throughout here, hopefully you can see from that distance. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit here to help you out. That's probably about as far as I can go. But you see large areas there. I can see the latitude and longitude lines on here. But I think some of the city names and stuff, they're not going to be in there. So that's cool though. If you really wanted to backstitch a little bit of looking like words, you could. But, oh man, yeah, I'm going to have to pop a picture up for you. There really is no way I can get this to fold out. Well enough for you to see it, but I wanted to at least show you enough here. Okay, there's more of the land area of the map here, so a lot of the ocean over here, but here you can see, hopefully, I might zoom back out a little bit. Here's North America here. So not too confetti, but you're not going to be able to tell a ton of detail or, you know, read words or anything like that. But this one I picked in particular because the map is only part of it, and it is a big part of it. But you have all the little pictures here on the sides as well as the top and the bottom here. So each of these is like a miniature cross stitch. Let's see, let me zoom back out. So like here's one, here. So each of these is going to be like doing a little scenery cross stitch, a mini. So that's why I thought I would be able to handle this one, kind of like the Pokemon where you're doing one Pokemon at a time. You just take one little piece at a time, and before you know it, you start getting somewhere, and it helps motivate you to do more and more. So that's why this was the map that I finally settled on. Now this is quite large. If I had done one of the PDF charts that I bought and done it 28 count over 1, they'd be a lot smaller, and I may still do one of those. I definitely have the fabric to do them, but the 28 count is hard on my eyes. I'm going to put this in front because we're going to look at this next. But 28 count is hard on my eyes. There are only some days I can work on those. It would take me forever to finish a map, and so I really wanted one to be stamped. But the spring map just wasn't enough detail. There's a Joy Sunday one, again, not enough detail, too small. So this is the first time that I have found a stamped cross stitch that was as large as it was. So that's why that was one of my long-term goals, was to be able to get this particular cross stitch from Painting Fairy. So thank you everyone that helped me get this. It means I owe you progress. So let's look at the craziness here of the floss. So we have this bag here of all the colors that didn't fit on here. Tons and tons, which is why I thought these might prove to be helpful, because I could, if I really wanted to, take one of these colors and fill up an entire thing just with one of those colors. So I will definitely be putting these to use. And some of these colors, just looking at this, it's pretty thick on here. So I may take some of these off and make a little bit more room on here so that I'm not dealing with trying to tie these in and out when they're so thick on there. So we do have purple for our cards, but look at all this floss. We have it tied with our bow, so very thick. So I may work this in subsets, where I look at an area and just pick the colors for that area and remove them from here and keep this as like a master set. So I need to think about that, because I don't want all of this to tie up and make knots and make a mess that's hard to deal with. I want this to be a really enjoyable, stress-free project. I saw a post on one of the Stamp Cross Stitch Facebook groups today of a lady trying to untangle her floss. Her floss cards had gotten all mixed up and it was just a mess. So I don't want that to happen. So I may be pulling colors out as subsets. Pick a small, like 6x6 square area and pull out the colors for that onto floss drops and just work from those and then go to the next. That may be the best way to work on this. So here are the colors though, lots and lots of blues and reds, so it's not quite the dark brown and dull colors that you would expect from an antique map. This one had a lot more color to it, and that may have been, you know, the original from whenever that map was made. I'll have to look up more details about that particular map, but the original may have been done in more dull and muted colors, but the modern cross stitch version has lots of pretty blues here. Look at that pretty gold. Some browns, there's some dusty rose and maroonish colors, lots of reds. Now we do still have a fair amount of browns and golds in this one, but look at that bright purple, tons of that. Lots and lots of blue, but we do have a lot of those off-whites and browns as well, as we would expect. A lot of greens in here, some rusty colors. There's a little bit of dark blue and some dark browns in here. There's 3371, and then all these that have a single thread, the rest is in here. So there's some grays, more golds and yellows, more browns and grayish browns and blues, and more purples. So let's see, I did not really count. Sometimes with blends it's hard to tell how many DMC colors you have. So here's 30, 60, 90, not quite 120, looks like 118 different DMC numbers here. So the rest are all blends made with these colors. So I may think about this one, and I do kind of like the idea of picking 6x6 square, looking at the main symbols in that, so that I can put those maybe on one of these cards for that section. Maybe have little stickers on here. And I didn't check, it feels like there's a protective coating on these, as there usually are. So yes, indeed, there are protective coatings on this, but I may use these for subsets and work on 6x6 squares or something like that. And that way I don't have to deal with all of the floss all at once. Because that is one of the trickier parts I have with my Pokemon cross stitch, is I have like 6 different of these. And I'm moving through all the different colors trying to find, because every Pokemon is different sets of colors, and it's a lot of work dealing with all those floss cards. So I may have to come up with a solution that works for this. But this is, I'll go ahead and take them out. I can put them back. But this is how they are bundled together for these colors that need a lot. So there's grays in here, lots of blues and light purples, and then all the gold colors in here. So I don't want to mess that up too much because I like the way they have it packaged here. So that is all our floss that we are going to need for this. So this is why a kit like this would be very expensive, because it's a huge piece of Ida cloth, about as big as they can go for that. 999 stitches, that's a lot, but that's the horizontal. I think it's the vertical part that limits how far they can go. Yeah, we'll put that away. So, wow. I'm ready to get started. This one will not wait on me for other times or other things. This I'm getting started right away, because this I have been waiting for so long. And I do thank you all for the support and everything you have done for my channel to get me to a point where I can finally get a giant antique world map that I can stitch with my eyes on beautiful, high quality threads, Ida fabric, the whole bit. This is a special project, and I will treat it as such and give you guys updates as I can. I think even though I randomly select different cross stitches to work on when I feel like cross stitching, I don't have like a set pattern or anything. This one I may set a goal for maybe twice a week, working on it for a certain amount of time, or put a certain number of threads in, work a certain 100 by 100 square section. We'll figure out something so that it has continuous progress through the years, because this is definitely a multi-year project. So thank you for your support. Thank you, Painting Fairy, for offering a cross stitch like this and working so hard to get it to me, because I know it was a challenge for them as well. At one point I got a shipping notice, but it hadn't actually shipped. They just created the label for it, and so I thought something was wrong because it hadn't moved in like 2 weeks. So I emailed their customer. I actually used their chat. The pattern here, and I got a response actually right away that said, oh, it hasn't shipped yet, so don't worry, we're still working on it. But they told me that they did ask them to put a rush on it, which I just wanted to make sure it wasn't lost in the mail. That's all I was worried about, because I knew it was going to be a tough one to print and package and get here and all that, especially since, you know, tariff issues and everything. This was a big, heavy box. These alone were very heavy, but also the cost of this, because there are tariffs to be paid for something this large and rather expensive. So one last look here, at least at a little part of this. I will pop up a picture right here to show you what it looks like fully spread out. And we'll talk about the giveaway next. So we have our little guy here, the little frame, and the toolkit. If you've ever wanted to try a Painting Fairy cross stitch, I think this would be a good way to do it. There's a little bit of back stitch on him here. There's back stitch here in his whiskers and a little bit around the edge of his body. I think there's some half stitches through here. But otherwise, it's a pretty simple stitch. There may be a couple little French knots in his eyes, but you can put beads in there. Maybe one there. I'm trying to remember when I did the And there's one there. So yeah, there are French knots in the center of each eye, just 2 of them, but you could use beads for that. And yes, indeed, these are half stitches there below him. But really, really cute seal, not a whole lot of detail, and it comes with a frame. So how are we going to do the giveaway? I might be able to ship to some places overseas, but I hate limiting things to just the US. But I don't think this package would be too much to ship to other places. I've never shipped to Australia. I could be regretting my words, but we'll give this a try. And I'm going to be a little bit different with the keyword. We'll do the keyword and then I'll assign a random number and all that. But for the keyword, I'm going to make it a little bit tricky for bots and other things to figure out it's a giveaway. So give me the name of your favorite animal as a keyword here. So leave me a comment with your favorite animal of any kind, wild animal, pet, whatever. Just let me know what your favorite animal is in the comments and you will be entered for the drawing for this cute little painting fairy cross stitch and accessories. So that way it can find a home, because I've already kind of started the other one. So I'll keep the one that Painting Fairy sent me. And they do have a full set. I think there's like 9 or 10 of those different animals that come with the frames on their website. And they're pretty affordable, because the frame plus the cross stitch I think is only like $7 or something like that. So check out Painting Fairy's website. I will put the link below. You can use my discount code if you choose, or one of the other content creators' discount codes to help them out. And I appreciate you watching and supporting my channel and all that. I'm ready to go stitch. I can't wait to get this started. So we'll talk to you next time.